What is going down, Sourdough Squad? I already see y'all vibing in the chat, dropping SDS if you're vibing with your boy, dropping SDS, vibe drop. Shout out to everyone. We appreciate you guys hopping in, talk some 49ers football. It's an eventful time in these parts, especially leading up until the NFL draft. Smoke season is at its full effect. We're about 2 weeks away from the drafts. I can't even see. There's so much smoke billowing up from every national reporter, every little piece of information that is coming out right now. Is there truth to it? Is there rumors? What are they hearing? How do we make sense of it? Tinfoil hat season right now is in full effect. Make sure you have your smoke ventilators because the smoke is everywhere. It is absolutely smoke season to the fullest extent. Gabriel says, I need me one of those hats. Perfect segue because we are going to be doing a unboxing. We got a new Residency lid today. I have no idea what the family has sent me today, but we will look into it and we will get this thing open and see what we got. So if you are looking for one of the fire caps, you know the vibes, you can go to residency.com. Use the promo code DSF9ers, get your hat, but we are doing an unboxing. I have no idea what's going to be in here, so we're going to find out. But we are going to talk about a lot of other things than just talking about hats and all that kind of good stuff. We're going to talk about Deebo Samuel. We're going to talk about some of the visits that have been happening as the draft nears. As Raymond says, Brisker was in for a visit, and that is Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State, one of the top safeties in this class. So as we know, the 49ers have been adding a lot of depth pieces, but it now appears that they are setting their eyes on the draft and seeing who they are going to target, whether positional value and or player. We do have this movement, so Jaquan Brisker will be in the building tomorrow. So that's exciting because he is one of the top safety prospects. And the fact that he is going to be in the building with San Francisco 49ers is pretty cool to see. Hey, I'll say this, when you look at players that have typically met with the team, there's a good chance that they could potentially sign. Deebo Samuel met with the San Francisco 49ers. He eventually signed or was drafted, I should say, by the San Francisco 49ers. So there is a little bit to it. It's always good to see players come in and meet. This is another player that will meet with the San Francisco 49ers running back Ty Chandler out of North Carolina. So he will also be visiting with the San Francisco 49ers. So, and this is just a couple out of, I think there's 30 official visits that the 49ers actually get. And we'll continue to see who comes up. But as we all know, there's a lot of other things to talk about. Specifically, feels like this offseason has been dominated by two players. And we'll get back into the draft once we kind of transition through this particular topic that we seemingly have to talk about every single day. But as you guys know, there's lots of drama with this contract negotiation surrounding Deebo Samuel. As it was reported today via Adam Schefter, Deebo Samuel is not going to be participating in offseason programs with the San Francisco 49ers, which start, I believe, tomorrow. I believe tomorrow's the day, where we're going to have players back in the building, back in Santa Clara, getting ready to start the offseason program. Deebo Samuel will not be in attendance. Just for a reference point, when Fred Warner was going through his contract negotiations with the San Francisco 49ers, he did show up to the offseason program and did participate. Same goes for George Kittle. When George Kittle was negotiating with the San Francisco 49ers, he showed up to the offseason program and participated in full. Hell, Kittle even showed up to training camp without a deal. And that's why, as we've discussed, this situation is a lot more daunting than previous contract negotiations that have come in its past, because how I'm evaluating this situation is I see a player in Deebo Samuel who's not going to go down that road, not going to be forced to participate in OTAs, in mandatory minicamp, be forced to show up to training camp without a deal. If there's anything that we've learned, Deebo Samuel isn't going to do that. And if you look at Deebo Samuel's agent, who actually just inked $100 million cornerback today in Ward from the Browns, he is on a hot streak. He got Mike Williams paid. He represents a bunch of big time athletes, including AJ Brown, including Terry McLaurin, including DK Metcalf. Now, as it's been reported, AJ Brown is not going to show up to offseason activities. DK Metcalf is not going to show up to offseason activities, but there is one who will show up, and that is Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin will show up. Again, he doesn't have, the high draft capital like Deebo or AJ, who's a former 5th-round pick, but he will be showing up. And that's a guy who's had 8 different starting quarterbacks in the last 3 seasons. Like, he is on that DeAndre Hopkins pace where it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Terry McLaurin is going to produce. Really does not matter. He is showing up to the off-season program. What is good? Cash the God. Shout out the homie, always showing love. Shout out everyone who's jumping in on this Monday. I hope you guys had a phenomenal Easter, got to spend some time with your families, got to maybe get away from some of this drama a little bit. But as we know, Monday picks up first thing in the morning. Man, I wasn't even awake yet. I had to wake up to this news. I had to wake up, like, my eyes are all crusty. I'm like scrolling through my phone. I'm like, oh, okay. Deebo Samuel's not showing up to the offseason program. Now, I'm not surprised in the slightest. But again, it's Monday. They started the news cycle bright and early today. So as you know, we are going to be talking about. So let's talk about the impact that what does this mean, right? That now we're getting to the point where we've talked about what has happened. Okay, now what does that mean going forward? Is this a situation where this is an indication that negotiations aren't going in the right direction? Or is this an indication that it's par for the course? I think of it like this. I had no anticipation of Deebo Samuel showing up to offseason programs. I really did not. I really did not. Also, sounds like we are heavy on Facebook right now. DJ's telling us we got 60 people in here, only 23 likes on the video. I'm seeing over 100 people. That means Facebook. We got a lot of people watching on Facebook right now. We see you guys. Shout out the Facebook gang. Facebook's going crazy right now. We got tons of people on Facebook. We see you. Shout out everyone who's hopping in here. Shout out everyone who's liked the video. We really do appreciate it. Shout out all the homies. We see you. JC, Justin, DJ, Keith. We see all the homies in here. I know there's even more that I'm probably leaving out, but we see the squad in the building. So this is how I'm interpreting it. This is how I'm interpreting it. I see a situation right now where I am not shocked. I'm not surprised. I'm not taken back with Deebo Samuel not showing up to the offseason program. I'm really not bothered by a whole lot. And I'll try to kind of talk about it from this lens. Deebo Samuel has had, for lack of a better, term, he's had an injury-riddled career, and that starts back into college. He has dealt with injuries consistently since he's been a D1 athlete all the way to him being an NFL player. We all recognize and understand Deebo Samuel is a physical specimen. They call him Mini Marshawn. He runs through your face. He doesn't try to step. He will juke you, but that's part of the beauty of Deebo Samuel. He can get you thinking he's going east and west, get you a little bit on your heels, and then he just lowers his head and shoulder and plows right through your face. That's why Deebo Samuel is one of the most electric players in the NFL today, and why he is asking for so much money. But you also have to put yourself on the other side of the negotiation table. We've been speaking a lot for Deebo and his side and their perspective or our perceived perspective of how they're trying to go through this situation. Well, look on the other side. Look at on the other side of the 49ers table. You know, the 49ers we've talked about it before. They have a very specific way in which they go about their contract negotiations. One of the biggest leverage tools that they use to their advantage is time. They like to drag this thing out. They like to go to the wire. And Deebo Samuel is challenging that. It's the first player that I have seen under the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch regime to actually challenge the negotiation, challenge Parag Marate, and really, put this thing on edge. We haven't seen that yet. So far, whether it's Fred, whether it's George, whether it's the other players who've been extended, they have kept their mouths shut, regardless of what's happening behind the scenes. And I can tell you there are things happening behind the scenes, but regardless of that, none of it was public. There was no public outcries. The last time we had seen this was with Raheem Mostert. And that was over like a $2 million deal that he just wanted guaranteed. He already had the deal. He just wanted it guaranteed. But he wanted it at his time. So, and the 49ers, they don't play those games. They don't, at least from what I've seen. Now, I can't say that with a ton of confidence because guess what? I'm not in those negotiations. I'm not part of those conversations. So I can only speak from my perceived angle, and that's how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing Deebo shake things up right now. Deebo's like, "No, sir." He said, "We're not waiting until training camp." You best believe that. We are not waiting until training camp to get this thing done. Cash the God, shout out the homie, says, "Look, I love Deebo. He is most definitely the best football player on the 49ers, but it was one season. Can he do it again? I think so, but he has to prove it. And plus, he's injury prone. Got to be logical." And this is exactly kind of the point that I was speaking to. Cash is kind of you have to think of this not only from Deebo's perspective, but you have to flip onto the other side of the table and think of this from the San Francisco 49ers perspective. Deebo Samuel has had a lot of injuries. And if you go back and you look at the chart, I may or may not be able to bring it up so we can see it together. But if you look at the chart that kind of goes through the history of his injuries, it's pretty interesting because it seemingly has occurred to one extremity when he gets hurt. And I think I'll be able to pull it up. Let's see if we can take a look at it. Again, we're pulling up information. That's it. We're now kind of approaching this maybe from more of a 49ers standpoint than a player standpoint. But as I say in my tweet here, I see no problems with Deebo Samuel not attending OTAs because just like we saw last year, Justin School went out for the year, torn ACL. Tarvarius Moore, I believe it was an Achilles injury, but lost for the year. Hell, Jeff Wilson stood up at his locker and then tore his meniscus. So I understand why Deebo will not go to OTAs. I am not holding that against him. I don't think that's an issue, but part of the reason why I'm not holding it against him can also be the same leverage tool that the 49ers can use against him. That's the crazy part of this, because if I'm Deebo Samuel, I don't want to go to OTAs and get hurt. Deebo Samuel broke his foot preseason training program in Tennessee running against air. He broke his foot. You guys remember 2020? He was out for the beginning part of the year, and just never really, I think, got his legs under him throughout that season. And that all started with running routes on air in the offseason. He broke his foot. And if you pull up this chart, you can see that's a 5 under there. So this, whatever website this is, I believe it was dailysharks.com or dailyfantasysharks.com, where they track the entire history of the players' injuries, and they isolate it to where the injuries happen. Well, what's pretty interesting, looking at this chart, that right leg has been through it. Again, that's a 5. That's a total of 5 listed injuries that they have, including, I think it was a broken tibia. So Deebo Samuel has had some injuries, and if I can guess, the 49ers are going to be like, man, do you see this? Do you see that? Do you see how there's already a decent amount of wear and tear on the body? Do you see how your physicality, your play style, we don't necessarily know if you're going to be able to continue to hold up over that consistent period of time. I can almost guarantee you this is what the 49ers are telling him. When it comes to trying, because I am still new to trying to wrap my head around the nuances of negotiation, because there's multiple sides. There's the player side, there's the team side, there's the agent side. There are multiple different moving parts, and both sides are trying to get the opposite thing. Deebo's trying to get the most money. The 49ers are trying to get him for the less amount. And so it's trying to meet in the middle to kind of come to an agreement. So I don't know. Again, I have no idea what's going on. But if the 49ers showed up to that first contract negotiation, dropped a list of the injuries that he's had, and go, well, what makes you so great, Deebo's? How is your physicality? But we also recognize physicality has a shelf life. So what we're seeing now, again, Deebo not going to be at OTAs, not going to be at mandatory minicamp. I have no problems. No problems with him not showing up. If I was his agent, I would recommend the same. Do not step foot onto another field under, the guise of the 49ers until they have paid you, because of this reason. If he shows up to OTAs or minicamp and pops his foot again, he ain't getting paid. He ain't getting that bag like we all was hoping he would get, or his agent would get. If he pops his foot or a knee or a hamstring or whatever, that significantly hurts him in regards to obtaining the highest valued contract. So in regards, and what I'm trying to bring this together, I don't see this being an issue in the sense of him not showing up to OTAs. Now, for me, where this becomes an issue when training camp rolls around. And that's assuming we get to that point, because as you guys know, if you have been watching me, my next deadline is the draft. And I think it's a huge deadline. But my next deadline is the NFL draft. And if Deebo Samuel is on this roster after the draft, that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like they're going to work towards a deal. Clearly, him being traded, that signals to all of us, well, he's clearly not getting paid by the Niners. We've heard multiple reports, whether they're rumors or whatever, most likely in the rumor category at this point. Again, it is smoke season. I don't think I can necessarily reach my tinfoil hat at this time to put it on. But hey, any report that you see for the next 2 weeks, you better have that tinfoil hat on because there is an agenda to be completed on the opposite side of it. You can, again, uh, you can talk about the reports with the Panthers being interested in Baker Mayfield after coming out and saying, we're not interested in Baker Mayfield. After Baker Mayfield came out and said, we're not interested in the Panthers. But, all of a sudden, don't sleep on the Panthers. The Panthers might get Baker. No. You have freaking Robbie Anderson commenting on other teams or on fan pages, Instagram posts saying no to Baker Mayfield, publicly letting it known, that going viral. Like, that is posturing to me. That is the epitome of smoke season to me. So I think that's posturing for who else? Jimmy Garoppolo. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. So that whole situation with the Panthers and Baker, and again, on top of this, you also had it reported today from Ian Rappaport that he will not be surprised if Jimmy Garoppolo is the starting quarterback in 2022 for the San Francisco 49ers. Can you guys keep track of the posturing? Can you keep track of the smoking mirrors and how one can relate to the other? Again, I don't think it's any surprise. I think the Panthers and the 49ers are trying. I don't know if trying is the word, but they're talking. I don't think it's a surprise. I think they're talking about a potential Jimmy Garoppolo trade. Now, will that trade happen? I don't know. But you best believe they're going to posture their way to get the lowest possible price on Jimmy Garoppolo all the way up until the draft. That's why I believe you're hearing the 49ers say, well, we'll just keep Jimmy. We'll pay him $26 million to be our starting quarterback. Again, because Ian Rappaport said, well, hey, Trey couldn't beat him out last year. Why could it happen 2 times? And you're just, again, this is a day. What is this, a day removed from the Trey Lance has been quietly told behind the scenes he will be the starter? Like, oh my God, how much posturing can we talk about? How much posturing can we? It's smoke season, guys. It is smoke season. Just get ready. There's so many moving parts, so many posturing, so many trying to elevate certain narratives, all that kind of stuff. It's wild. So just be on the lookout. Dominic says, do the Panthers have Cat for Jimmy? From my understanding, they do. From my understanding, they do. So it's going to be interesting, man. Again, that's why we talk about smoke season. It's why we talk about just, taking everything with a grain of salt, because there are agendas to be completed. There are values to either prop up or push down. You're going to hear the same thing with draft prospects. Draft prospects are either going to be elevated in the media, or Kyle Hamilton is falling down draft boards. That could be a team just leaking that they want Kyle Hamilton to fall to them at a later price, and they don't want to pay as much to get him. Happens every year. Shout out, Cap. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Deebo the like button. Smash that like button. Shout out, Cap. He said, everyone talking about Deebo missing workouts. Where's Jimmy G at? JK, I know he's injured. Yeah, Cap. You know Jimmy's sitting on that 7.5 guaranteed million right now, not worried about a dang thing. He's sitting back. I guarantee you his family, his people in his circle, his agent, they love this. They love this because we know this fan base, the media, or whatever. They pooped on that man. So they're vibing. We were like, we got 7.5 million just chilling regardless of what happens to us. Like we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Like my goodness, they're loving it. They are loving it right now. So, and I think an interesting thing too is yes, Deebo Samuel will get dinged. Deebo will lose money. Deebo Deebo will be down. Uh, will be down some money. I believe it's somewhere in the ballpark of like, how was it, like 50K a day? I don't have the numbers right in front of me. I know some other guys were reporting on it earlier, but I believe it's in the ballpark of potentially like around like a 50K a day situation. I think if he missed mandatory minicamp, might be like 100K. The 49ers have the opportunity to fine him this amount for not showing. It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. So until then, I think the next thing we have to look forward to is the draft. That's it for Jimmy and for Deebo. That's what it feels like to me. Now, that's my personal perception. That's my thought process. I I've been saying it from the beginning. The draft is my target. There's a reason the draft is my target. I believe there is a reason why Deebo did this with the timing that he did it. Because, what leverage does Deebo have? He showed you his leverage. He showed you it. And you're seeing it. You're seeing it right now. And again, I've made it very clear that this to me isn't a message to the 49ers at all. Like the scrubbing of the Instagram, that's not a message to the 49ers. They have the 49ers cell phone. They have their email. They can tell them that you can take your deal and go shove it. They can do that. And they can send that direct and send it right to them, which I'm sure they have done. But that's not why he did that. In my opinion, he scrubbed to tell everyone else that, hey, I'm available. Because if the 49ers aren't going to give me what I want, then someone else could. So that's why the draft, for me, is a big milestone. If he can make it through, we're in good shape because let's be honest, the San Francisco 49ers are not going to trade 2023 picks for Deebo Samuel. Why would they do that? They won't. That's why if Deebo will get traded, if that's a possibility, it will happen by the draft. So again, how I perceive this issue with the social media scrubbing and the fan base, hey, if the fan base was concerned about Deebo Samuel leaving, and this, I'm not speaking to everyone. I'm speaking to the people who comment on everything. If your goal is to keep Deebo Samuel, I can guarantee you this fan base is doing a terrible job letting him know that they want Deebo Samuel to stay around. Awful. Like, and this isn't even to speaking to you guys. This is like my Instagram comments. Again, we already know what had happened last week with all the people hitting him up, in the DMs with very inappropriate things. This fan base ain't helping themselves out at all. And again, it's why we've likely received a certain moniker. But if your goal was to make Deebo feel welcome to come back, we're not, as I guess a collective, because we have to take accountability for all of us. I would say we're not doing a great job. So if you're looking for a messy divorce, kind of feels like with each day that passes, we're heading closer to a messy divorce. Now, I hope that's not the case. I'm hoping there's a reconciliation. I'm hoping there's an ability to come to common ground. I'm hoping there's an ability to meet in the middle and get something done. But until that happens, I am on pretty much suicide watch. No, I'm just kidding. But I am concerned. I'm concerned. And so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens until then. And Tommy says, you want Deebo? The price is 4 firsts. I won't be shocked, man, if someone pays that. That's the thing. That's what scares me. That's what scares me about this situation, is because a team will do that. Look at the Jets. Look at all the ammo they have. Look at it. Look at everything they have. This is hilarious. AJ Brown just tweeted this. It's pertinent to what we're talking about. It's almost like it fits right in with what we're talking about. AJ Brown, the other wide receiver represented by Deebo Samuel's agent, who is looking to get paid as well, just tweeted, "I'm a diva and a bad teammate all of a sudden. LOL. Okay, do what you have to do then, and so will I." I'm telling you, man. These negotiations are getting feisty. I guarantee you Deebo feels the same way. Do what you have to do then, so will I. Again, I think that last sentence, let me see if I pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up. That way we can just look at it. I suck at reading. I clearly didn't pass English class in school. Shout out ADHD. All right, let's see what AJ Brown. Oh, did he delete it already? No way, he deleted it already. Oh, I think he deleted that tweet already. Oh no, I'm tripping. There it is. All right, let's pull it up. All right, so this is from AJ Brown again in the same situation. In the same situation as Deebo Samuel, correct? Agreed? They're in the same boat. They're trying to accomplish very similar things. His last sentence is it for me. Do what you have to do then, and so will I. That's exactly how I feel about Deebo and what he's doing. I don't think Deebo Samuel believes that the 49ers are going to give him what he wants. So he isn't going to wait. He is not going to wait. He is going to shake up the market while it's hot, before the draft, before the Jets go and get Christian Watson or Traylon Burks or whoever. And then all of a sudden, no one's got a home for Deebo. No one's, maybe we're not as willing to pay that $60 million guaranteed to Deebo. But before the draft, 100%. 100%. So it's getting messy. Again, it's getting messy. And this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with Deebo, but in the same exact light in which we are talking about, just like AJ Brown just said, do what you have to do, and so will I. I really think that's how Deebo's treating this situation. I think he's doing what he has to do, not what the 49ers have to do, not what the fan base thinks he should do. And we are in a world where players are trying to grab their narrative. It hasn't existed. Historically, it hasn't existed. You would have to just sit back and watch the media just go on with whatever narrative. Players never had the opportunity to inject their context into anything. Oh, that's changing now, baby. That is changing now. And they are grabbing it and they are pulling that power away from teams because these players know that one day, their personal brand could and I believe will be bigger than the team. You're already seeing it in the NBA. Just look at LeBron. Look at that. Look at LeBron. And that's going to continue to be a trickle-down effect. Trying to control not only just what you get paid, control maybe say in coaches, control in personnel. It's coming, man. It might not happen right away, but it's happening. It's happening. So it'll be interesting. And what do you guys? What would you? Let's poll the chat. Let's poll the chat. We haven't polled the chat today. Let's poll the chat. What is the asking price for Deebo Samuel in a trade where you would feel comfortable doing that? I would imagine that the majority don't want to trade Deebo Samuel. But if it's gotten to that point where Deebo has signaled to the front office that, listen, you're not paying me. I'm going to go get paid somewhere else. Let me go work out contract negotiations with another team. And you work out trade compensation for another team. What does that look like? For you to be okay with that? Because I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm watching the fan narrative turn. Before, it was a lot of adamant people about paying Deebo Samuel. But since the scrub, since more news continues to come out, I am seeing the tide turn to the opposite direction, which I don't think he necessarily wanted from a, fan perception. But again, I also do rationalize he might not even care at a certain point. But the narrative really feels like it's, at least amongst fans, that's what I'm talking about. Again, I deal with hundreds of thousands of you guys every day. It feels like it's, at least with who's vocal, the vocal people are getting upset as the days continue and we're not even close to August, which is when I think the 49ers want to get a deal done. I don't think they want to get a deal done in April. I don't think they want to get a deal done in May or July. They like August. Maybe late July. But before the draft? Ooh, boy. The timing is everything, in my opinion. DJ says, smash that like button. Come on, family. Smash it. Let's do it. Smash that like button for me if you haven't already. We would really, really appreciate that. Oh, Creamy says Scary Terry and the 11th pick, but you still have to pay Terry. So, I mean, if you get a first rounder and Scary Terry, and you give the deal that you wanted to give Deebo to Scary Terry, be interesting. Justin, my boy, says 4, 10, 35, 38. You know, that's the Jets, baby. If the Jets send that haul for Deebo Samuel, boy, that's Sauce Gardner. That's Kyle Hamilton. That's Kayvon Thibodeau. That's a blue chip. Potentially 2 at 4 and 10. And you're getting them on rookie deals? You're getting them on a rookie price? Woo! 35, 38, you're going to get starters at 35 and 38, guaranteed. That's 4 starters. If you know what you're doing and you know how to draft, that's 4 starters. Woo! You're taking 4 starters on rookie deals over Deebo Samuel, 35 could be Christian Watson. Oh, God. You could go Sauce. You could go K-Bon. You could go Christian Watson. Maybe at 35. Maybe you might have to trade up a little bit. But you start dangling Christian Watson in front of 49ers fans. Woo. People get excited about that. BF says 2 firsts and a second he'd be okay with to trade Deebo for that amount. Dominic says, I want at least 3 picks, 1 pick in the first round. It's not a asking price if we're thinking about trading Deebo, thinking about trading yourself from the 49er fan base. Okay. Seems like a pretty logical conversation starter. Seems like we have some logic going in. Again, how dare us go down the hypothetical road with the situation that's been presented to us? How dare us get us out of this fan base? Get us out quick. Quick. How dare we? My goodness. Let's see. He does deserve to get paid, which I think we all agree. But it would have to be 1 top 10, first round pick, and 2 more picks, and a player at least. So I think you can see it. This doesn't mean he will get traded, but for people to feel comfortable losing out on arguably the most popular 49ers player that we've seen in a while, he's up there with George Kittle. Like, hell, he might even, from a fan perception standpoint, he might have maybe even popped up above Kittle from a popularity standpoint because he was doing all the producing. Kyle was calling Deebo's number, and Deebo really carried this team on his back as a result. EMA says 2 firsts, a second, and a 4th or a 5th absolute minimum. So you can see, like, it's not like a situation where we want to trade Deebo. And that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about wanting. We're talking about if it was presented to us and we had to, what does that look like? What does that look like? Jason, my boy, he says, I'm so upset people are taking this so damn serious. Oh, man, this isn't my first rodeo, man. I'm not surprised at all. This is how it goes every time, man. Every time. I like this one. Pay Sourdough Brad. Absolutely. Pay me my money. Pay Spicy too. Pay all the 49er content creators. Raymond says Jets 10th, 35th, 38th, and a first next year. Whew. Oh, man. Will Smith that like button. Oh, I like that one. I like that one. Deebo for 3 firsts to the Jets would be fire. Jay says he'd rather have AJ. Ooh, boy. Oh, wow. Carolina's 6th, Burns, and a 4th for Deebo and Jimmy. God, don't get me excited playing Hypothetical GM today. Don't get me excited playing Hypothetical GM today. That would be like Brian Burns and, again, Blue Chipper. Maybe Kayvon Thibodeau. Maybe a Sauce Gardner falls to 6. Maybe Kyle Hamilton. That's you're talking one guy who's proven to be elite and one guy who could be elite. Man. See, and this is a problem, man. This is what problem when you make all this stuff known, when you put this stuff out into the universe, this is what we do. We talk about it. And maybe it wasn't your plan or not, but people will sell themselves on a potential hypothetical situation. You start dangling draft picks, you start dangling other players, you start dangling like other situations, you will be surprised by how quickly someone will be like, that doesn't sound too bad. Just saying, man. I'm just saying. I'm gonna try. I'm a little behind. I'm a little behind on some of the comments. Let me try to catch up. Oh man, if I was in that front office, we already would have had Brian Burns. It wouldn't even be a conversation. We'd already have him. Already have him on the. Already on. Paul, what are you talking about? I'm on YouTube. No crap, I'm not the GM. No crap. Wow, you're really smart for that one. Great observation, Paul. We're literally on YouTube. This is a YouTube channel. Did you need to be reminded of that? Do you need a reminder? Hey, Paul, this is YouTube. I swear, people get so upset over nothing. If you're the GM, I'm not paying to be a GM. Well, yeah, that's typically how it works. You hold a job and they pay you to do said job. What are we talking about, Paul? All right, I need to get away. I need to get away before I absolutely demolish Paul. It's okay, Paul. We have our moments. We all have our moments. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, Paul. I forgive you, just like you forgive me. And we move on. All right. And just to prove to you that this is a YouTube channel, we're going to do an unboxing. Let's go. We are going to do an unboxing because guess what? This is a YouTube channel, and shout out the family at Residency for always getting your boy right. So we're going to take a break. We'll get back to it in a second. But as you know, the family at Residency sent me a nice little gift because I'm not the GM of the San Francisco 49ers. And because I'm not the GM of the San Francisco 49ers, we are going to do an unboxing on live. So I'm very excited to get into this and see what we got. The key thing is to not cut your finger off while opening it and speaking at the same time. Now I feel like that is like, pretty common sense, but you can get distracted and maybe lose a limb every once in a while. All right. What color do we think it is? I have no idea what's in here. I'm going to go ahead and say I could use some new black hats, but we got red. Sean's calling for red. We got lots of tan. Again, you see the white hat behind me. I feel like, oh man, so far red's coming in hot. I kind of feel like we could go black. I'm kind of feeling black. I need a black, but it's Caucasian. It is ginger beard red. That's what it is. It's habanero sourdough bread red. Could be gold. Ooh, gold. Yeah, it could be gold. Seen a lot of gold coming in. Gold, gray. Ooh, that would be kind of sick. Half white, half red. All right, let's figure this out. We got black, gold, white, silver, black. Oh, now we're just getting crazy. All right, let's see. They do have if you are a Giants fan, they have this same color scheme in Giants colors. Just saying. All right, let's figure it out. Let's see. I don't know what it is. Oh, let's go. Woo! Let's go. Shout out the squad. I got stickers falling out. Ooh, new. These are new stickies. By the way. Ooh. Spicy caliente. All right, hold on 1 second. You know the vibes. This is where you get it. Holy hell, I'm dropping everything over here. Look at that. Oh, you know what this means. You know what this means, baby. Warriors. Warrior. Let's go. This is Warriors. Don't get it twisted. This is Warriors, baby. Let's go. Dubs all day. LeBron, who? Who? Oh, that's right. He's sitting on the couch enjoying the Dubs play. Let's go. Shout out the family at Residency. Like I said, this threw me for the ringer. I wasn't expecting a Dubs hat. Let's go. Ooh, that's clean though. That's clean. I know we got. Oh, I like this even better. Let's go. The official Levi's South hat. The official Levi's South hat. So if you show up to Levi's South. This is the official hat. Great call, Justin. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Shout out to Residency. We are going to be doing a giveaway soon. I still owe DJ a hat. DJ, I got you, my guy. I owe you. And we're going to be doing some more stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot more. I got some merch stuff in the works. Boy, we cooking behind the scenes. We might, I'm a little light on the front end, but we're cooking behind the scenes. Whew. Let's go. Go Dubs. Go Dubs. Dub. I think I got my Draymond jerseys like tucked over here in the corner. I got my Dre jersey. I got like, I think the most jerseys that I own are Stephen Curry. I got a Davidson Curry. I got a City Curry. I think I got just like a standard Curry. Shout out the Warriors, bro. Shout out the Warriors. Merch coming soon. We're working on that SDS, baby. That SDS merch coming soon. We got all kinds of stuff. Oh, can we get to 100? Can we get to 100 likes? We can get to 100 likes. Let's get to 100 likes, baby. All right. Now, as you guys know, this is clearly the point of the show where we start to go off the rails a little bit. So if you want to guide me towards going off the rails, I'm inviting you. So questions that you guys have, comments, concerns, go for it. Go for it. This is the time that we typically, kind of go off the rails a little bit. Anything goes past an hour. Once we get past an hour, there's no telling. There's no telling what this ginger beard will say. So we could keep talking about Deebo. We could talk about Jimmy. We could talk about whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever we want to talk about. Again, shout out Residency. Shout out the fam. Get the hat at residency.com. Use the promo code. You want to take a picture of this? There it is. Take a picture. Takes you right to their website. Makes it nice and easy. And shout out these. I like these, baby. Those are dope. They got they still got the old school Residency sticker, but new edition. I like these a lot. I'm actually probably gonna put this on my laptop. That's nice. I like that. I like that quite a bit. Oh, let's talk about draft. It works for me. I do want to give you guys a bit of an update. We have an update coming. Pretty substantial update for the channel, I guess. For us. So I'm working on this, DJ. This is exactly what I'm working on. SDS we're getting there. It's looking nice. It's looking good. I like it. I like where we're headed with the SDS brand. We're getting there, baby. Bread gang to the moon. But yeah, I'm to give you an update on SDS merch, we're working through the first round of revisions on our first couple art pieces for the SDS merch. So we got the first kind of proof of concept, I think, kind of headed in the right direction. So we are going to continue to progress and move that forward. But I do have to update you guys. Big changes, I guess, coming. Because if you look behind me, I feel like, you guys really don't know me without this specific backdrop behind me. But I do want to let you guys know that I'm moving. I am moving. And I'm very excited about that. I'm very, very excited about that. Your boy, you're the chief sourdough technician has been grinding kind of out of my little home garage office, if you will. But I am moving, and I am now going to have a legitimate office studio. I'm about to make that thing sick. So just so you know, I'm not the GM. So, but I will be moving. So that means I might pop up one day. And there might be just blank walls behind me. Might just be blank. And you're like, what the hell is this? I am in the process of moving. This is going to be like the last thing that essentially gets packed up. I pretty much have everything else in the house packed. Maybe transitioning this week. This is the number one hope. This, because I'm a firm believer that I live in a Wi-Fi just black hole. So the hope is once we get the move done, get into the nice air-conditioned studio, Wi-Fi will be much better. So that's the hopes. Appreciate everyone saying congrats and all that good stuff. I really appreciate you guys. You guys have been riding with me for a long time. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that once I show up one day and this isn't there anymore, that it's not a huge surprise. Not a huge surprise, but I'm excited. I'm very excited, just as Jason says. Very, very happy. Very happy about it. Very excited. Very excited. And I'm excited to see what we do with the studio. Excited to see what we do with the studio because I want to make that shit nice. Excited. Let's go. Shout out to everyone. Appreciate all the squad rolling with your boy. All right. The McDonald's Wi-Fi has done us well, but we will hopefully be upgrading from McDonald's Wi-Fi to like Chick-fil-A Wi-Fi, Chick-fil-A Wi-Fi, maybe. Maybe we might have to turn it into content. Maybe we'll see. We will see. DJ says 21 likes from 100. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Let's talk a little bit of draft, right? Let's talk a little bit of draft before we get out of here. What necessarily do you guys want to talk about in regards to the draft? What positional players maybe are you interested in? What value ranges are you looking for? What can we talk about with the draft? Ooh. That has to happen because I can't call myself a true 49er fan. I definitely can't call myself the GM of the 49ers if I don't have a Jerry Rice jersey. Sheesh. Ooh. Okay, I got a name for you. So I love this development. I love this development because I know Justin knows. I know a couple other people know. But if you caught me at the combine doing lives from the NFL combine, there was a player who stood from the tight end group that I had no idea who it was. No clue. But I really liked the on-field movement skills. Who was that tight end? That tight end was Chase Allen out of Iowa State. And I'm happy to report Chase Allen is in George Kittle's garage right now working out. So Chase Allen he's like I have him more as a late rounder guy. I think he's still a developmental prospect at tight end. I think he needs work in the run game, but I do see him as a potential a good wide receiver, or not wide receiver, but a receiving tight end. So that's a guy that I like, but a guy that I do like, and it's not because of his name. It might be because of his name, just a little bit. Just a little bit, maybe. No, it's not. I lied. Daniel Bellinger, SDSU tight end. Just saying. Oh, JC's from Iowa State? Wow. Look at that. Look at that. But Daniel Bellinger, SDSU. So he's been a name that, I'll be honest, I keep getting drawn to. I still need to do my full study on him, but he is someone that I am gravitating towards. So I'm going to do a little bit more research into him, try to put together a full scouting report on Daniel Bellinger, tight end from SDSU. But that could be a potential target from the tight end position. I don't think the 49ers are going to go early on tight end. So if they're going to go tight end, they're likely going to kick it towards the 5th, 6th, 7th round. Would love that. And to grab one of these guys, again, who can be developmental. You already have Charlie Warner. I think Charlie Warner's done a phenomenal job in his development. So you're to me, you're looking for that tight end 3. So to get a tight end 3, Charlie Warner was a 6th round draft pick. You can find value in your tight end. I think those are 2 names to keep an eye out for. Let's see. I see you guys talking about some other prospects. Connor wants a cornerback, and I see people talking about Marcus Jones out of Houston. I love Marcus Jones. I think he's going to be a phenomenal prospect or a phenomenal player in the NFL. I feel like, and what he's talking about here is watching a 5'8" Marcus Jones go up against a 6'3" Alec Pierce, who is going to be drafted in the NFL. That's why Gmo wants you to look at this, because these are 2 NFL prospects, but this NFL prospect is a 6'3" wide receiver. This NFL prospect is a 5'8" cornerback. And this guy, 5'8" cornerback, did a phenomenal job on the 6'3" wide receiver. I think Marcus Jones is a player. I think you can play him on the outside. I think he's one of those rare, shorter cornerbacks that can still play outside. I imagine they're going to kick him inside to nickel, but if he's at nickel, he's going to thrive because he has that physical mentality and he has a really physical mindset when it comes to playing the cornerback position, where size, I don't see that as being a massive issue, because I think he has the athletic baseline skill set to be able to jump and meet the ball at its highest point, time the ball when it's reaching someone's hands to be able to rip it out. I don't think that 5'8" stature is going to be much of an issue for him. I don't. I think he's going to be a great player. Frank says at nickel, Marcus Jones would start 50 to 70% of starting snaps on defense this year. Hey, Diamador Lenore said, don't forget about me, guys. He posted that earlier or late last week. He said, don't forget about me. But I do like Marcus Jones quite a bit. I do. Justin's over here dreaming about Sky Moore. Dude, Sky Moore might have the highest like rising stock that I've seen uh, of the last like week or two. He's his stock's going through the roof right now. So I don't know. Sky Moore worked himself into first round territory. Maybe not because of all the edge talent and the interior or the basically trench talent in this class. I think trench talent is going to end up pushing some good players down. So maybe a Sky Moore slides into the top of the second, but Sky definitely feels like, Jalen Reagor, for what it's worth, got a lot of buzz laid out of TCU. He ended up going before Justin Jefferson. Now, was that a good decision? No. I would have told you right then and there that was not a good decision. And that is as someone who liked Jalen Reagor. But I like Justin Jefferson more. And so you could see that. You could see that happen. Again, to try to put it into reference with what Jalen Reagor was to Justin Jefferson, I would say it's like Sky Moore kind of leaping Christian Watson, if you will. Not even maybe, maybe. Like Sky Moore getting drafted before Christian Watson potentially. Or maybe like a Treylon Burks. Maybe something more into that situation. But it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. Going to be very interesting to see where he goes. Do I think Deebo will be traded? Not a draft question, but I won't be surprised. Do I want him to be traded? No. Do I think he will get traded? I have no idea. I'm not the GM. Will I be surprised if he's traded? Not in the slightest. Will I be surprised if they sign him to a mega extension? Not in the slightest. I'm ready for anything at this point. Oh. See, this is the hard part, man. This is the hard part. Ooh. April says, my son asked for a Deebo Samuel jersey as his only birthday present. Oh. I have kids. And I know the exact struggle that you're talking about right now. And she said, I literally could not believe that he did not want to wear it for Easter and rep. Quote, Deebo don't like the Niners right now. Stop mom doesn't feel right. Again, we had a little conversation about this, about how the tide's turning amongst the fan base. This is a perfect example. This is a perfect example. Yeah, it's at the youth level. This man said, I ain't wearing my only birthday present because Deebo don't want to support me. That's how fans take this, especially young fans. Young fans don't see business. They don't see the dollars attached to this. They don't see the red tape. They don't see the politics. They see the football. They see the player. They see the athlete. That's what they see. And when they perceive or they see a player scrub their Instagram, that's huge for them. My son would tell you the same thing. My son's like, what's going on with Deebo, dude? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, does he even like the 49ers? I think so. Like, it doesn't seem like it. That's what exactly. But we also understand contract negotiations go far beyond, does he like the team? Does this, does that? It's not about that. It's about getting paid. It's about Deebo ultimately getting the money that he wants. And honestly, he does not care. It's unfortunate to say that, but he does not care about the fan base right now. He doesn't care. In the sense of like, no, let me retract that because that's unfair of me to say. That's unfair of me to say about Deebo. I can guarantee you, if Deebo like saw this story or was approached with this, he would feel bad about it. He would, he's got a son. He's a dad now. So now his son is still young. But I know, hey, some of those thought processes start to change, when you become a father. So I find this to be fascinating. And this is what happens. These are the strays. These are the strays that happen in the middle of a public, ugly contract negotiation. Two legends just joined the chat. Shout out Jesus. Shout out James. We see you. Shout out the boys. But that's interesting. It's interesting to see the children's take on it. Because again, kids are going to view this situation much differently. And I think Creed brings another good point to this. They don't understand. They don't understand the complexity of contract negotiation. And they don't understand kind of the, those things. They might not even understand what social media is. So yeah. It's going to be wild, man. Dude, if a lot of kids are going to be hurt by that. I guarantee you, Deebo, my son, came out last year being one of probably his favorite player. And why? Because of how electric, how dynamic, how much fun he was to watch. But if he gets moved, and again, if he gets moved, it's going to look like he orchestrated it. And that's part of the issue. I think if he does get traded, we are going to see Deebo burning jersey videos. Like, judging by the current state of this fan base, we're going to see that. We're going to see kids, probably some parents are going to show their kids throwing Deebo Samuel jersey into the trash. Like, it's going to be wild because of how it's been perceived. It is going, if Deebo gets moved, and that actually does happen, he is going to be held responsible at a certain point. The fan base is going to hold him accountable for it happening at a certain level. Now, it might not be the whole thing, but we understand not everyone is going to rationally view the whole situation. They're just going to be like, wow, you scrubbed our team and now you're traded? That's your fault. I guarantee it. So I hope that doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't. But like I said, I don't feel the feeling between this contract negotiation and the Kittle negotiation feels much more intense. And the Kittle negotiation was intense. Kittle negotiation was intense. But this feels like a completely different. This feels like a different, like, universe of how intense this situation is. So, man, draft can't get here sooner. The draft can't get here sooner. I'm telling you. Draft cannot get here sooner. So it's going to be interesting to see. I do imagine there's more reports of Deebo Samuel pulling himself out of team activities, not showing up. Those same fans are going to start gravitating to guys like Brandon Ayuk. It's the nature of fans. So find out, man. We will find out. We're 6 away from 100. Let's get to that 100, and then we will close out today's show. Hopefully, there will be some days that exist in our near future where we're not commenting and talking about drama, basically, talking about hypothetical situations because of the drama. But hey, till then, we're right here. We're right here to talk about it. So, Javon Kinlaw, I'm watching a video right now. Javon Kinlaw. So, you know how Mike McGlinchey posted that video last week of how he was progressing. Javon Kinlaw just posted a video himself. I'm going to put it onto YouTube right after we get off here. We hit 100. I didn't even see. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to squad. We hit 100. Let's go. Yes. More interviews coming soon. I had kind of told everyone I'm in the process of moving. So I'm kind of got that stuff on hold because I want to get settled in to the new spot, kind of rebuild the studio. And then I would say after the draft is when I'm going to start reaching out to guys about coming on. Because I should be moved in by the draft or after the draft. So that's kind of where I'm at with interviews. But once that occurs, we will pick it back up. Try to get you more people on here to talk about the San Francisco 49ers other than the drama that we're consistently talking about. So that will be coming back soon. But until then, we wait and see. So I know we all want this thing to happen sooner rather than later, but these next 2 weeks going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Again, put that tinfoil hat on. Understand it's smoke season. Understand that there's going to be a lot of rumors, lots of smoke about prospects, potential trades, all that. So just be on the lookout. Let's go. Shout out everyone. I appreciate it. Cash to God says, thanks for the stream, Brad. Mod Squad on point. Mod Squad is undefeated per usual. Same with the SDS. We're vibing. Gotta love it. We got one Gammon coming in strong. Appreciate the super chat, Gammon. He said, this is Deebo versus Parag. To the people saying trade Deebo, okay, for what? What trade partner can take on $25 million in salary and provide fair compensation? The answer is the Jets. The answer is the Jets. Then that's the problem. That's the problem is there's a perfect destination and there's a perfect partner. There's a perfect destination and a perfect partner. Literally, Robert Saleh, LaFleur, both former 49ers coaches, offensive, defensive. Obviously, Saleh is the the head coach. LaFleur is the OC. Like, it couldn't be any more perfect. They have so much draft capital. They have 4 picks in the top 38. They have all the money in the world. And they've already tried to get Tyreek Hill. They've already tried to get these wide receiver Devontae Adams that have been moved. Guess who's available? Guess who's available? And it's the Jets. And they're in the AFC. They are not in the NFC. They're in the AFC. It's too perfect, man. I'm telling you. It's too perfect. That's why I'm terrified. I'm terrified because the Jets have money. The Jets have picks. The Jets have familiarity. They know Deebo. Like intimately know Deebo. They know everything about the guy. They know his habits. They know they don't have to interview him. They don't have to see if it's a good personality fit. They know to their core who they are trading for and what they are trading for. There's no questions about, oh, well, if we did get Deebo, how would it? No, they know. That's why this is terrifying to me. That's why this is terrifying to me, because the Jets have shown they will be aggressive. They have shown that. They have tried to get multiple big name wide receivers this year. Are they going to go after DK Metcalf? Are they going to go after AJ Brown? Are they going to go after Deebo Samuel? So we'll see. Chris Royal says, fly ass hat bread. I appreciate you, my boy. Thank you very much. And as you know, anytime we bring up the hat, I'll show you where to get it. Residency.com. Use the promo code the SF9ers. We did an unboxing if you missed it. The family, I didn't even know this was coming. We had Dubs. We had the Dubs gear from the gang. I love that. It's playoff basketball time. And now I got these hats are so fire. Like, I'm just take my word for it. The quality is fantastic. It's one of the best quality hats I've ever received. Let's see, James. Shoo! Shout out James. Legend. Chat legend. James Vega says Kittle proved himself for a few seasons before he got his contract. Deebo had one good season and wants a record-breaking deal. Deebo getting traded isn't a bad thing for the 49ers. Keep up the great work, Brad. James, you make a lot of good points. You make a lot of good points. You know, it does get easy to be like, it can be easy to just say, oh, it'll get done. But when you really dig into it and you really think about it and you look at the trade part, again, who's he going to get traded to? The Jets. Okay. Well, there's a partner. They have the picks. They have the money. They have the familiarity. So they're the perfect trade partner. Okay. Well, he still has to get traded. Oh, okay. Well, Deebo did scrub his entire Instagram. And I, again, perceive that not as a message to the 49ers. I perceive that as a message to other teams. Okay. So maybe teams are reaching out about Deebo now that he's scrubbed his. Well, that means the 49ers have to trade him, though. Well, you have the perfect trade. You have a place where Deebo wants to go, could get the money. You could get the compensation back in return. And you're already kind of scratching your head going, we're not going to pay him $60 million guaranteed. But if they will, and they want to give us, that's what I'm saying, man. It's not as cut and dry as some people are making it seem. Like, yeah, we would love to just be like, oh yeah, Deebo's getting paid. Says who? Show me proof. Show me proof of someone getting a contract in April from the 49ers. Show me. Show me that. You won't be able to. Maybe you will. I don't know. I have no idea. But just my feeling, it doesn't feel like a great situation. So, and, you know, you could argue, you know, people see the production that Deebo put up, and he put up fantastic production. And we understand people don't appreciate George for his blocking, but his blocking is huge. Huge into him getting $15 million a year. Deebo's like, give me 25 or more. That's a huge gap. I don't know. Is Deebo Samuel $10 million a year more valuable than George Kittle? You start having that conversation. Again, people are going to point to the production, the yardage, the touchdowns, and they're going to probably lean Deebo. But if you break down every single snap of George Kittle and what George does in the run game, he is the focal point. Don't believe it? Go watch Cardinals game week 5. See what happens when you don't have George Kittle out there blocking on the edge. See what happens. It's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. So there's going to be a lot that goes into it. It's going to be something that we continue to talk about. We have a counterpoint. Miliano says Deebo's rookie year was not only good, but we all saw what happened when he was used in the playoffs and when he wasn't in the Super Bowl. The only one good reason narrative has no context. I guess I'm not familiar with the only one good reason narrative. I might need to be schooled up on that narrative, or I'm just maybe it's just not clicking for me. Maybe it's jeez, only one good season. I can't read. ADHD gang, shout out. Dyslexia gang. Man. All right. The narrative that again, you're asking me to do it, so I will do it. I will put myself in the San Francisco 49ers shoes. When they're going to say you only had one good season has no context. Well, it does have context. What did he do in 2020? What did 2020 look like? 2020, now granted, it was bad year for a lot of teams, for a lot of 49ers players. There's a lot of injuries. But look at what Brandon Ayuk did in that same season. And essentially, what you could counter to this point is Deebo broke his foot running on air in the offseason, which didn't make him available the first couple of games in 2020. And then he just never got healthy in 2020. He would come back for a game or two, get hurt, come back for a game or two, get hurt. And then if you really want to dive into his rookie year, he had a lot of problems before Emmanuel Sanders showed up, if you remember. Deebo even spoke to this at the Super Bowl. He said that he was having a really hard time grasp the playbook for the first half of the year, and it wasn't transitioning to him playing well. Deebo really didn't play well the first half of the 2019 year. It was when Emmanuel Sanders, they traded for him. Both, not only Deebo, but Kendrick Bourne both started playing better. When Emmanuel Sanders came onto the squad, both players have credited Emmanuel Sanders to helping elevate their game and making things more manageable for them to understand as rookies. So when you make the only one good, there is context to it. Now it doesn't have to be he's only had one good season. He had really good stretch run in that playoffs in 2019. He really started taking off at the end of 2019, but he dipped dramatically in 2020 with an injury. And when you're going to the table to talk contracts and you want to be paid super, super high, and that's what your 3 years look like, even though you've had one legendary season, my understanding is from a contractual negotiation standpoint, they aren't just going to pay you on one good year. They're going to pay you on the body of work. And I think that's the problem, is that they are going to point out and be ruthless about pointing out the injuries, pointing out the games he's missed, pointing out the drop rate, pointing out X, Y, and Z, which I think could be essentially Maybe perceived as disrespect. Could be. But that could be the reason why he's doing what he's doing. So I think it goes both ways. I think he's shown so much promise as a wide receiver that yes, he's had one legitimately solid year. But if you look at the 2 years that came prior, 2020 was abysmal. And it was only until the end of 2019 that he started picking it up. But that makes sense. He was a rookie. So the contract conversation, it might be ugly because we think of last year as fans, as analysts. We remember what he just did last year. I imagine if I put my contract negotiating hat on, I don't think of just last year. I think of his rookie year. I think of his sophomore year. I think of that third year, and we look at the body of work, and then we try to project out what will continue to come down the line. And that's where I think the issues probably lie. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, just like everything in our world as of late, hopefully it is just speculation. Hopefully there is a situation that exists where they do meet in the middle, they get something figured out, and we aren't having to talk about this anymore. The hope is that we are celebrating a Deebo Samuel contract coming. The hope is that not only are we celebrating not only are we celebrating that, we're celebrating Nick Bosa getting signed. So there's two guys that need to get signed to record deals. That's the other aspect of it that I don't think we're connecting either, is that two people have to get paid. And if you asked me, I would imagine they actually might value Bosa a little bit more than Deebo. But I'm a Trench guy, and I'm extremely biased to my Trench brothers. And that's my take on it. If I had imagined, I would imagine the 49ers would pay Bosa more than they would pay Deebo. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see if it gets there. But until then, lots more speculation, lots more smoke, lots more rumors, lot more ups and downs, lots more this fan base is going to flip. The more and more that these reports come out about Deebo, this fan base is going to flip on them. They already did, but the loyal ones are going to flip soon. They are. I know it's going to happen. It happens like clockwork. So we'll see. We'll see if he gets the bag. We'll see if they can do damage control, or maybe the damage has been done. We'll see. Let's see. Hey, shout out Jesse. Hey, we just got a new one today, Jesse. I don't know who you rep, but we repping Warriors, baby. Shout out Residency got me the Warrior cap. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Love it. I love this even more. Choo choo. Come on, John. Let me just let me bring me in as a consultant. Just bring me in as a consultant. Let me talk to the Panthers GM for 20 minutes. Give me 20 minutes with the Panthers GM. Let me talk Burns. Let me talk Jimmy. Give me 20 minutes. That's all I need. You give me 20 minutes, I will guarantee you I have that Panthers GM like double, like questioning himself, like, wow, I thought he was insane, but he actually might have a couple good points. No, what's wild about this situation though? You know what's like? I'm not. I don't want. I'm not trying to put this out in the universe because if it were up to me, give me Bosa, give me Deebo. I'll be a happy man. Give me Bosa, give me Deebo. I'm happy. I'm thrilled. Off to potential championship, hopefully. But if Deebo got traded, think about this. If Deebo gets traded, say for a massive haul from the Jets throw down 2 top 10 picks, maybe a second rounder. Let's say that happens. Let's say, oh, Jets go, here's 4 and 10 and 35. Huh. There you go. Give us Deebo. We'll pay him. And the 49ers take it. Now they have 4, 10, 35, and 61. And then they still have Jimmy's contract. Jimmy's contract's still there, but hey, guess what? A contract that you were having to maybe give potentially 40, 50, 60 million guaranteed to in Deebo Samuel is no longer on the team. Now you focus on Bosa. And then you trade for Brian Burns, include Jimmy, obviously give a little bit more capital on top of Jimmy to the Panthers. Panthers get their quarterback. Plus, they get some additional assets. They don't have a second or third round pick. Maybe give them, maybe. I mean, I'll do a lot for Brian Burns. You give them 61. Let's say you give them 61. Okay, well, you still have 4, 10, and 35. You give up 61 Jimmy Garoppolo for Brian Burns. Now you have elite edge. God, I would have some. Bro, you guys know how to get me. You guys know how to get me. You just bring up Brian Burns and you know my mind just starts going like this. I'm like, "Oh, Brian Burns. How do we get Brian Burns?" Like you just know. It's like it's like an emotional trigger. It's not even like I don't even think it's like a logical thought process at this point. It's just like a trigger. Like someone says Brian Burns, and I'm just like, okay, how do we get Brian Burns? Oh, well, what if Deebo's not here? What does that mean? Man, that would be wild. Straight delusional. 100%. 100% it's delusional. And I accept it. And I love it. And I bask in it. And that's what the off season is. And that's what I enjoy so much about being a hypothetical GM. Like that guy got mad at me for not being a GM little earlier ago. Yeah, I'm not a GM. We just talk about hypotheticals. That's it. We just have fun, man. That's what the offseason is. Like me tweeting about Brian Burns is like an escape from having to tweet or talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. Like I don't think people like understand that although I love Brian Burns, I also despise talking about Jimmy Garoppolo more than I love Brian Burns. So I could galaxy brain Brian Burns scenarios all day. All day. All day. I could Brian Burns scenarios all day. Just for fun. But that would be wild. Could you imagine? Let's say it's done. Let's just say it's ear workable, whatever the word is. 49ers, Deebo Samuel, it's not happening. Deal's not getting done. Jets decide, okay, we will give you X haul for this. They get the haul in return. They clear the cap space. They pay Bosa. Bosa gets paid. You still have Jimmy. What are you going to do with Jimmy? Carolina Panthers, I believe, are posturing for Jimmy right now. Okay. Well, give us Jimmy. We got all this new draft capital. Here's a couple extra picks with Jimmy. Give us Brian. He's already on the 5th-year option. We'll play him out through the 5th-year option. We'll pay him in 2 years. God, oh my gosh. Love it. Love it. I'd have so much fun. They would think I'm insane in those conversations, but by the end of it, I guarantee you I could have them like, He has a point. He like I still think he's just some weird, crazy YouTuber. But I see the vision. I see what he's talking about. My goodness. So this is funny. I was actually going to ask Brian to come on. I haven't yet because I went on vacation and I'm moving. Um, I typed out the whole message. I just didn't send it because I realized I had a bunch of scheduling conflicts. Um, oh, I very well may have Brian Burns on this channel at one point. Probably will. He still follows me on Instagram. And he still checks up on me every once in a while, still likes my posts, still pops into the story every once in a while. Every time I DM him, he responds back. So if I want to get BB on the channel, I don't think it would be too hard. Hopefully. I think he would do it. But I didn't want to get him on to talk pre-combine. Is what I wanted to talk to him about. Because we had talked so much during his pre-combine stuff because he had to gain weight. And so we had talked a lot through that period. So I wanted to get him on pre-combine. But that didn't work out just based on, again, a timing. I think it could happen though. If he's on this team, I guarantee you he's on this channel. 100%. So it will be interesting. Oh, I remember Jesse posed this trade. So this would be Jimmy Deebo for Darnold, Burns, and 6th overall. I think that would get people thinking. I think that would get people scratching their head because I think the Darnold for Jimmy, you're swapping contracts. It's kind of more of a contract swap than anything. It kind of feels almost like you're trading Deebo for Burns in a first, but Jimmy's more valuable than Darnold. So you're gaining more value from Jimmy. Clearly, Deebo's valuable, and then you're getting Burns in a first with first the 6th overall. By the way, the first is potentially Sauce Gardner, Kyle Hamilton, maybe even like an insane offensive lineman. Again, this is hypothetical season, baby. This is hypothetical season. We aren't talking hypotheticals with Deebo Samuel being traded unless he didn't scrub his Instagram. So par for the course, I guess. But hey, man, it's hypothetical season. I live for it. I live for it. I don't know how much Darnold is guaranteed. His contract is guaranteed. I mean, again, I don't like Darnold. Like, I personally wouldn't want Darnold anywhere near my team. I've been like extremely adamant about that. I just don't want him anywhere near my squad. That goes back to last year. That goes back to pre-draft. All of it. Not a Darnold fan. But if we get Burns and the 6th overall, I think you can warm me up a little bit. Now, I prefer not to give Deebo out, but hey, again, there might be a situation that exists where they don't meet in the middle. I don't know. Shout out to homie Luke. Hope you had a good Easter, my brother. He said, just here to say hi, give a like. Shout out to one of the day one homies. We see you, Luke. My guy probably working off in the background. Per usual, getting people's tats looking right. The only reason I'd bring Darnold on to maybe hopefully trade him. That's what the hope would be. But not a fan of Darnold, to be honest. Oh, Jesse saying 18 million, fully guaranteed, 5th year. Oh, they picked up the 5th-year option. That's right. Ooh. I would hate to pay Sam Darnold $18 million. Oh my gosh. I think Sudfeld's better than Darnold at this point. Shout out Sudfeld. Damn. I forgot they picked up his 5th-year energy. That's crazy. Wow. That's a lot. Justin is campaigning hard for Leo Chanel. He's like 6'1", 250, right? That dude could be a potentially defensive end at the next level. Potentially interior D tackle if they bulk him up a little bit. I don't know, man. He seems like he needs to be in space. But that's interesting. That is interesting. Darnold getting beat out by Nate would be hilarious. Hey, he beat out the other top 10 pick, Josh Rosen. He beat him out. I saw it. I watched it in real time. Sudfeld was the 4th-string quarterback heading into camp. Rosen was 3rd string. I watched Sudfeld beat Rosen. I got to watch it. It was fun to watch. Sudfeld darts, baby. It's a real thing. Dion says, when in football history do you trade a quarterback that went to a bowl, win or lose, sit out a season, come back, and go to the NFC Championship? I mean, that sounds like very specific context. It sounds like very specific context, but I mean, Russell Wilson just got traded. What other like premier? Deshaun is clearly a different situation. He didn't go to any bowls, but Russell won one Super Bowl, lost another, was clearly the franchise. He got traded. But I think Jimmy wants to leave too. I think this is a breakup between Jimmy and Kyle. I don't think those two want each other. I think it definitely goes Kyle doesn't want Jimmy. But that also reciprocates as, well, if you don't want me, then I don't want you. I'm not going to stay somewhere that I'm not wanted. So I don't think Jimmy wants to be here. And I wouldn't blame him for not wanting to be here. So fun stuff. Somehow, I think I tried to get off like 30 minutes ago. I think it was James. He kept me going with the super chat. You guys have figured it out. You send me a super chat on my way out, and I stay on for another 30 minutes. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So it's gonna be interesting, man. We got a lot of questions. Jimmy, Deebo, and if those dominoes fall in either direction, it's gonna be very interesting to see the dynamic in which it falls. Clearly, Deebo, if Deebo gets traded, yikes. Big old squirrel. Oh gosh. He's gonna try and do it again. Don't Deebo that like button. Don't tempt me with a good time, James. Don't tempt me with a good time. goodness. Oh gosh. I love it. I love it here. I love it here because I love you guys. Sometimes the stuff we have to talk about is frustrating, but I'm so happy that we had the SDS through all this, man. I'm so happy because it could be so much more toxic. We could get real toxic about this stuff, man. I had someone send me some like crazy ass message over Brian Burns, bro. I had someone send me some like, like those death threat. God damn it, James. I love you, man. He said, "Oh, you want to threaten me with a good time, huh? You want to threaten me? Well, here you go." Shout out, James. Shout out, James Squirrel. I think I was saying something. I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, I think I know what I was saying. I'm so happy that we got us, man. So happy that amidst the drama of this team, we can at least talk about it and then we can just laugh about stuff at the end. Oh gosh. These guys are trying to keep me on forever, bro. These guys, Cap and James are secretly side texting. They're secretly side texting. And now they're just trying to keep me on. I figured out the plan, guys. I figured it out. They're just gonna hit me with more super chats and Brian Burns comments, and I'm gonna be on here for 3 days. I'm gonna be on here for 3 days. DJ says, now I have to show off the hat. I'll show off the hat again. Go Dubs. Let's go. Go Dubs. All day. Shout out everyone, man. It's fun stuff. Good stuff. You guys are making me happy. Thank you. But oh god, do I have to answer this question? What other Brian Burns scenarios have you thought of? I mean, the main one that I have is with Jimmy, because I really do believe the Panthers are trying to get Jimmy. So I'm leveraging the Panthers wanting Jimmy, and that being our reference point of like opening conversations. Well, okay, you want Jimmy, but we want Brian. And they're like, Brian is not available. Well, what's the cost to make him available? Because I think everyone has a price. And so most of my scenarios deal with Jimmy at the helm. People have been trying to get me to tie in Deebo. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Shout out Luke. Shout out Luke. Shout out Luke. Hey, it's not a requirement. It's not a requirement to send super chats. It is not. But as you know, your boy really does appreciate it. But it's not a requirement. The requirement here, the requirement here is vibes. That's it. That's all you need. But like Luke says, for those who can't donate but want more content, shout out the squad. Y'all are some real ones. You really are. Again, there's no requirement to send me super chats. You know what helps your boy. You know what helps the content keep on rolling. But at the end of the day, what is required are vibes. That's it. You bring the vibes, everything else falls into place. Shout out the squad. I love it. So good. So good. Oh my goodness. Shout out the family. I think that's a good time, though. I think that's a good time. You better not send me another super chat. Seriously. Someone drops another one right as I'm about to get off. But anyways, I think it's time. If we're definitely hitting 2 hours, that means it's definitely time. But shout out everyone. I got to get to moving, got to get to packing. James, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Although I wouldn't be mad at it. I don't know. What's the like count at? What's the like count at? We're probably close. Oh, we hit our goal. We went over 100. We went over 100. I think so. God damn it. You son of a guns. You son of a guns. I love you guys. You guys are the best. We'll be back tomorrow, as you know. I don't have anything planned. Like I've said, my plan is moving. So, oh my goodness. You guys are the best. Shout out, Jason. I'll be the volunteer. Enjoy your evening. You guys are the best. I really appreciate it, man. You guys, I like this is a good trend we got going. Oh man, y'all are the best. Shout out to SDS. SDS is undefeated. It's a vibe. I appreciate you all. I will be back tomorrow. Who knows? I could pop up in some random room. I might be back. We'll see. But until then, we will continue to follow the situation. We will continue to have good vibes through it all. And for all of this, I thank you. Shout out to everyone. Again, like what did Luke say? You know, hey, not everyone can donate, and that's absolutely okay. As long as we keep good vibes, keep the energy rolling, that's all that matters at the end of the day. Shout out the SDS again. Shout out Residency for the hat one last time. You want the hat? Get it here. Promo code. Y'all know the vibes. You know how this works. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Appreciate you all. I can't wait. Oh, right on time. We got a bot. Get out of here. Scram. Get that bot out of here. Shout out to everyone. Love you guys, man. I'll catch you tomorrow. Y'all have a great night.